St. Ignace Blues is our blues in G with syncopation, and uses the same chords from Hessel Blues, the inverted D chord, and we're also going to be doing some different stuff with our left hand. In this style, it's often a good idea to keep as much of the chord held down as you can, and not taking fingers away from the chord form if possible, and using available fingers. This is something I learned from Duck Baker much later in my guitar life, just within the last 5 or 10 years, at a workshop he gave at a house concert that we had here at the house. And you know, it's one of those things that, like, if you think about it and you see it and you implement it, it makes a lot of sense. If you take fingers away from the form, then sometimes your hands have a little bit more trouble communicating, and they can become confused because there are signals going back and forth. And so if I was to play, say, this open second string to the second fret of the open third string, and then the second fret of the third string, while holding a G down, it makes more sense to use my first finger than it does to take my middle finger off and move, or my second finger off and move to the third string. You may do that, moving your finger, and it might work fine. So, you know, continue to do with whatever you want to do technically, you know, with those kinds of ideas. But if you're getting started right now, it's a good idea to really try to, like, you know, focus your energy on getting that technique to work, because I found it to be tremendously helpful. Also, just at retention, you know, kind of keeping track of what I'm doing, and just general fingering and that sort of thing. There's always exceptions, you know, sometimes you have to use your middle finger or second finger, fine, but you know, it's just a good technique to have as like your standard baseline technique. So when you're playing C chord, same idea. When you go open 3, you might say, well, you're picking your first finger up off of the second string and taking the chord away. And it's true, but it's more of kind of like a, not so much anything goes on the top few strings, but it's definitely like that's where you're going to be playing your melody. So your bottom part of the chord is a little bit more fixed. But anyways, that's something for a later lesson if you're interested. Let's just, you should be able to see what I'm doing. It's in the first measure and towards the end when I'm using that index finger for the St. Ignace Blues on the second fret, third string. Anyhow, okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.